Between Mr. Chiedozie Okeke. Dr. Chiedozie Okeke is a distinguished leader, bridging communication, business, and strategic management. With a rich educational background, including an HND in mass communication, a master's in business administration, and a doctorate in strategic management and leadership development, Dr. Okeke epitomizes expertise and innovation. As an author of 12 published books, Dr. Okeke empowers leaders worldwide with insights into entrepreneurship and leadership. His commitment to nurturing the next generation is evident through his roles as founder of Impact Youth Global Youth Initiative and as a guest lecturer at esteemed institutions like the West Africa Media and Broadcast Academy. Dr. Okeke's impact extends to the business realm as Creative Director of Plus Africa Resources Limited and Director of Ingrace Digital Resources Africa. His initiatives, including the Finance and Entrepreneurship Conference and Bold Money College, underscore his dedication to fostering financial literacy and entrepreneur prowess. With a standing ovation and with their hands jammed in applause, let's make welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chiedozie Okeke.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please celebrate me. If you are sitting down, you are wrong. That profile should make you stand up and celebrate me. Thank you so much. It's awesome being here. Please, you can get seated. Today we are talking about boldness and courage. And at the point this morning, I was like, I won't be speaking. At the point I said, okay, let me just share my stories and then pick out a few points that you have to note, and I'm sure my story is going to inspire somebody here, especially young people who are here, who might be thinking, these things, I don't know how to go about it, I don't know how to go about it, all right? So that is why I said, let me just take a little time and share my story, all right? So some of you here, if you're not a first-timer in our conferences and our programs, you must have heard some part of our stories shared by Solomon or I. Maybe you might have read them in our books and all that. But I just want to bring a perspective and a dimension to it, pointing out the importance of courage, boldness, and the tenacity to face life. We are born in a family that, if we want to describe them humbly, we will say it's a humble background, all right? But there's nothing humble about that. It's poverty that makes some people humble, right? It's poverty that makes what? It's poverty that makes people humble. You will see just a few rich people who are humble. Some people who you think they are humble, when they get money, humility disappears. So when we are described as humble background, it's an indication that we don't know, we don't have. Hello? We don't have it. That's what it means to be humble. Right? Our father was a wheelbarrow pusher in Abapa. Our mother works in the quarry, and it simply means that she goes to break stones, dig ground, shield gravel, gravel that they used to build, break stones and sell them. When it gets to a tipper, they sell it around 7,000 or so. Right? That was peanuts. And we followed her. We learned the skill, okay? So one thing I have not added to my CV that I will have to add to my CV is professional stone breaker. Right? Because I've learned that from my mom's business. It got to a point that getting into secondary school was an issue. We had to travel to Eziago. That's a long story to even tell. We had to travel to Eziago because we had a promise to stay in a compound, So I have to be putting Igbo to explain better. We had to say, okay, they said, okay, this is an opportunity. You go to our village, you stay, you take care of the compound. These people were rich, so take care of their compound. take care of everything. They send you food. They pay your school fees in the village and buy you clothing. So we said, that was it. It's time to go. We now went. But coupled with the fact that they promised that they were going to buy us phone and also promised that they were going to buy us bicycle. And we said, this is a better life. And then we left Enugu to that place. 1 year later, something happened. The arrangement was that we were supposed to stay in that village for 6 years to finish our secondary school. And one of the reasons why we took that offer was because our parents could not afford to put us in any secondary school, as at that time we were done with primary school. And our elder brother was also getting into senior secondary school, and then it was so much money for them to handle those two at that point. So we said, okay, let us take this offer. And we went. Miraculously, 1 year later, something happened, the system ejected us and we came back to Enugu. And someone will say, what is so miraculous about that? It was miraculous because if we had stayed there for 6 years, we wouldn't have heard about Chiedozie Okeke. We wouldn't be doing what we are doing today. It would have been 2 young men whose destinies were destroyed because there was no opportunity. All right? So miraculously, we came out to Enugu, and they still could not afford to put us in any school again. Fast forward. Some years later, that was 13 years ago, getting to 14 years ago. Before then, I've been writing books, and I had over 30 books, manuscripts that were already stocked in my house, in the house. I enjoyed writing. There was nothing as joyful as getting a 20 leaves or 40 leaves and writing until it was filled up. It was joyful. You give it one name and then you keep it. Because there was no money to publish all these things. So, but we kept writing. I kept writing. So some years later, 14 years ago, I was so young. I don't want to say how old I was then, because if you calculate it, some of you that have not known my age, know my age, and because I am about going into politics, they have advised me not to be declaring my age everywhere. If you followed our birthday this year, you will know that it was not declared. So they will not say, is it this small boy? Okay, so we were about 12 years then, and by every indication, the first lesson I want you to pick is that some painful things that would happen in your life, that you think these things are painful, some of these things are pathway to your greatness. They are things pushing you to where you are supposed to be. So when I said miraculously we were ejected from the system and we came back to a place where it seems that we lacked a lot, it was God's ordination to bring us back to the city of Enugu for us to meet people and to begin to do the real work. Had it been we stayed there for 6 years. So there's something happening in your life now. If it hadn't happened, if it's not happening at this point, you will not get to where God is posting you to. You will not get to where God has destined you to. It will be painful. Hello? It will be what? Painful. So when I started writing, about that 14 years ago, we started, I said to myself, it's time to step out. Now, we were sitting in one of our teachers. She was our primary school teacher. We were in her house. So, then we didn't have the luxury of all these televisions and all that. So we had access to television in our house. And then the news was flashing of a young girl of 10 years that had published 2 books. And she was launching this book, and they documented it on MTA, and they were throwing it everywhere on our face. And I was like, if this 10-year-old girl could do this, what stops me from doing it? By all standards, I was too young. What are you going to be reading from a 12-year-old boy, a Nige boys, whose English were not put together, who did not have any good editor? What are you going to be? I was disqualified by all standards. There was no money to even print the book. I've written over 30 and none has been printed. So what is even coming into your head to even make that move? You don't qualify. You don't have the money. Nobody will even care to listen to you. Some people have told you that nobody will care to listen to you. Some people have told you that those things you want to get into or that you have gotten into, all those things are pure waste of time. They have told you all that. They have told you that you are not qualified. But what makes you qualified is the moment you begin to step out. You get qualified by doing. So there was a problem, there was a challenge, there was an issue. Okay, you have written all. Who will edit? You don't even know anything about this. So I now picked those books. I remember I had gotten challenged. I was challenged already by that young girl. I said, okay. I now picked those books. I couldn't type them. I wrote them on a plain sheet, on a long note. It was cheap then. Now, SS book is very expensive. So it was cheap then. And I had to do photocopy. So it looks like something that is typed at least. But it was written on my hand. I took it to one woman and I said, please help me. I took it to my pastor first. I said, please help me look. You know, it was a religious book, so pastors are the ones who need to look into it. If I can't pay editor, let the pastor do the editing. So and the pastor said, I don't have time, oh, I'm so busy. Okay, go to this woman. She's a teacher. I think she teaches English. She can help you. I said, oh, gladly. What am I looking for? If you help me, why not? So I took it to that woman and I said, okay, please help me edit. I said, oh, with all gladness, I'm going to do that. She took it and she stayed for over 1 month without touching that book. Now, that's for the editing. Now, even if it is edited, how are you going to publish? There was no money. All we could save, you know, we started our savings journey very early. We were doing our Kawo 2020 now. So everything that was in the Kawo was not up to 5,000. And I had made that bold step to go and meet a publisher. See, money is not your issue in most cases. Someone would say, I've not started that business because I don't have money. And then you turn back and tell the person, how much would it cost to start? The person doesn't even know. You don't even know what it will take financially. But you have pegged the issue, the challenge around why you have not done anything. Your excuse is that there's no money. And then you don't know. And then you follow people in that very bad, poor generalization that says, there's no money anywhere. This country is hard. There's no money anywhere. You don't even know how much you need. There's no money anywhere. But I had made that bold step to meet the printer who gave me the quotation. He said it was 35,000. And everything we could raise, even as a family, was not up to 5,000. So it took me boldness to step out. And then I began to scout for who is going to help me. Know what you want. That is when you'll be able to know who can help you. Know how much you need. That is when you'll be able to know who can help you. Know exactly what you want. So I now stepped out. I said, oh, this man in our church, invariably he is the richest person. Go to people who can help you, not just everybody. Go to people who can help you, not just everybody. There are people who will like your post, and that is the highest help they can help your life. Liking your post. Thank God, that is where they are. Very soon they will graduate to doing other things. At every point, know who can help you and go to that person. And be specific. Don't waste people's time. So I went to him and said, this is what I have done. I want this book published. I've written it. Someone is editing it. And then they told me, this is the figure. There should be a figure. Don't go and tell, I need help. I want to publish you. He said, how much? He said, let me go and ask. You will not get that time again. I said, this is the figure. He said, okay. Who are you even? Who is your father? Tell your father to meet me next Sunday. And my father went and he gave us 10,000 naira. 10,000 naira plus minus 5,000 is 15. And we were looking for 35. And because 10,000 naira have come, we must do that job. We must do that one. We will not eat that money. Some people will be like, I asked you for 35,000 and all you could do is 10,000. Because you have carried your hope and you have put it on man. And then you carry the money, and then you forget about the project. You use the money for another thing, and you shut down that door and many other doors. Everybody who is helping you to achieve a dream and a purpose. And they are not obligated to help you all through. People have their own troubles. So Sean, get away with entitlement mentality. As much as this person can help you, let them help you. You move to the next person. If you will get to a point where you are not moving to people to help you, you will help yourself. And that is one of the things this conference came up to do for you. For you to be able to leave this place and help yourself. So when he dropped that money, we had to rally around. We had to negotiate with the printer to pay this, pay 2,000, 5,000 until it comes. There must be a way out. Don't sit down and give yourself excuses. There must be a way out. Of that trouble, of that project you want to do, there must be a way out. Have you been able to step out? Step out first. There must be a way out. We didn't have any cover the day we said we were doing this conference. And when we tell you, when we go to the ledger and show you how much it has cost in this economy, you'll be amazed. Have you been able to step out first? So the book got published a lot. And because we do not have money to hire a hall like this, we went back to the pastor and said, please, this book is out. We want to launch it. We want the church auditorium. We have seen a lot of people use the church auditorium for their event. And the pastor said, okay, give me the book. Let me go and read. And I will get back to you on it. Some days later, we went to the pastor and said, Pastor, have you been able to read? Want to get a date so we can be able to say, okay, yes, I've read the book. It is not up to the standard of our church. And as such, it will not be launched in our auditorium. We are not asking the church to launch it. We are asking the hall after service. Let us do our thing. So there will be rejections. Of course, when I look at the book today, I already know it was not up to any standard. He was saying the truth, but I was so young, I didn't know anything. It was not up to any standard. Any of you that will open the book today will laugh. It must not be perfect at the beginning. It is you that is looking for perfection. And when you are looking for perfection, you will shoot yourself on the leg. Growth happens. The books I write now cannot be compared to the book of that day, of those years. But what would have happened if I started now, 14 years after? I would have started close to that type of writing. But I started so early, and I have been able to grow. And there's no end to growth. Right? So it must not be perfect. Boldness, courageous leaders are not perfect leaders. In fact, you will not find anybody perfect on earth. Even Jesus, that you thought he was perfect, went into the temple and started flogging people. Have you seen perfect people flog people? Embarrass people in the public? So it must not be perfect at the beginning. In fact, it's only going to get better. It will never be perfect. Perfect is arrival. You will never arrive there. And don't pray to arrive there. Because when you get to where you think it's your goal, there's another goal in front. If you sit down and say, hey, we have achieved it, we have achieved it, we have achieved it, this is it, this is it, and you sit down and bask in the euphoria of the past, people will overtake you, and it will happen in your eyes. Okay, make it farm nanya, and then you will just see yourself, and you will be imagining, how did I get this outdated? How did I get this backward? Because you get too satisfied. So, bold leaders, courageous leaders are not satisfied. I tell people, we are going to do Leadership Rebirth Conference in Dubai, in London, everywhere. I tell people, I'm going to own very large real estate for charity. When I get there, I will set another goal. I was talking about the pastor saying it's not up to our standard. I agree, it was not up to the standard. In fact, I saw it much, much later. But I was bitter because I'm supposed to be encouraged. I was bitter because I brought this to you in the first place, even before I went for publication. But it was not up to the standard. That's the truth. So there's going to be rejection. Doesn't matter what their reasons are. There's going to be what? Rejection. You must develop thick skin. You must do what? Develop thick skin to be able to absorb them. If the question is, are people going to reject you? Yes. Are people going to insult you? Yes. Are they going to talk all manner of things about you on the social media? Yes. Are you going to even get scandals? Yes. Except you don't want to climb to the top. But the moment you want to climb to the top, you have to get ready. You have to do what? Get ready for it. So when this book came out, I went to a teacher. And the teacher said, no, it's not going to happen. She's a pastor. She's into PFN. So she said, it's not going to happen. I'm going to get you another place. And she got another place. The place of mentorship. There should be somebody you are running to. There should be somebody you are talking to. There should be somebody you are on their wings. You are riding on their wings. You are getting their experiences. There should be somebody you are enjoying the privileges of their experiences. And she got someone, somewhere. And I was welcomed in another church. And I put my program. See, no matter what they have said, don't back out. No matter what they are saying, don't do what? Back out. I put my lunch in. My church came. My pastor came. Everybody came. In another place. When it was supposed to be happening in their church. So people will celebrate you. People will come and celebrate you when they have seen results. The reason why they are not celebrating is that they have not seen results. So you have to show them results. I would always say you have to show them drama. Give them drama. And that is result. It's not going to social media and talk nonsense. It's the result that will speak. Until you begin to give them results, nobody send you. There's so much problem on this earth for people to tackle, to even look at your face. Until they begin to see results. So that book was launched, and then I said to myself, I now have the wings of eagles. I am now on the wings of eagles, and I'm going to fly. And I began to fly. Every year I kept releasing books. I didn't even bother going to people to beg them for money again. So what are you doing with the money that is coming into your hands? You have started. Are you reinvesting it? Are you trying to grow that brand? What are you doing with the income? What are you doing with the money? I could remember those days. You know, that was around the time they used to buy Christmas clothes for us, right? So I would dress up on suits. You know that suit they bought for us those days that has lines. Christmas suit that has lines. So it's coat, no, it's not suit. So I would dress on them, and then on weekdays, I would just be strolling around. Any church that is open, I will go and sit down and listen to the pastor. After, I will come and bring a copy of that same book and say, oh, this is what I wrote. I want you to read it so we can be able to sell to your church and all that. So many people appreciated me because I was young. You must have to start early. I was young and I was thinking in that direction. So they gave me their platform. After maybe I meet them on Wednesday, by Saturday I call them and say, you can come. That's when I will now dress on that coat and carry one Ama Jehovah bag. And inside that Ama Jehovah bag is maybe 50 copies. I will now enter the church like this, tear a paper, and then write, usher, take it to your pastor, and a copy of the book. And then once the pastor sees it, they know I am around. Whenever they find the time, they will call me up and talk, oh, I've read this book, I've done this, I've done. But it took enough boldness and enough courage for me to be able to market and sell that book. So, and people loved it. One church bought 250 copies. One church. And they were going out to do evangelism with a book. Somebody said it was not up to the standard. So people have standards. People have set their own standards. might be too high for you at the beginning, but that is not a necessity, that's not a reason why you should not start. Your standard might be that the people you will be working with must be people that graduated from abroad. And in all your life, you've not crossed Enugu. Is that a reason why you should not start? Because of other people's standard. So I want to encourage you to become bold. I just told you one part of the story. They have shown me time up. Father, I didn't even plan to stay here so long. You have to be bold, audacious with your dream. And just know that it is not all figured out at this beginning. But you must be out there. You must do what? Out there. Chase your dream like a mad person. Chase it like a mad person. Chase it as if you don't have any other option in life. Chase it as if you don't have any other option. Chase it shamelessly. Sell yourself shamelessly. And make demand on life. Life gives you what you demanded for and not what you think you deserve. Life gives you what you demand. When you place a demand on life, it gives it to you and not what you think you deserve. So I want to charge you this morning. Make a demand on life. Chase your dream with all alacrity, with all boldness. And come on, in the next 5-10 years, we will look back to this year and then we will see testimonies. We will see reasons why it was very necessary for you to do that. So I want to encourage you, be bold. Be what? Bold. Be what? Courageous. The journey is too far to get tired now. You are too young to get tired now. You are too young to feel empty. You are too young to get depressed. You are too young for people to tell you it's not possible. For people to use their own standard and rubbish you. You are too young for that. Chase your dream with everything in you. That is why God sent you here. And if you're able to achieve it, come on, the sky will be your starting point. And boldness will be your name. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Chiedozie Okeke.